Alright. So, sorry for that. We're having some technical difficulties. Thanks for bearing with us. A couple of tunes, though, that we're playing caught my own here, so remember to vote going towards next year's competitions for Independent Music Artist of the Year on ldmradio.com. Alright. Yeah. So, we're going to skip most of the news today. We're on a bit of a time crunch. But what I will say is, for those of you who are Tinder users, I found out that Tinder's doing a thing called Game Night on Sundays from 6 to 10 or 6 to 11, something like that. So, supposedly it's a story like Bandersnatch for those of you who are on Netflix, where essentially you are given a story and given choices to direct the story. Unlike other, things like Bandersnatch and whatnot, you can't go back, so you just make your decision left or right, whatever the case may be, and proceed to the story. So I'm actually going to play just to find out what the story is and continue on with that. So, for you guys, that's the thing. And to lead us into our movie talk, Joker is just too damn real for this world. People are literally walking out of theaters across the entire globe because of how hard and how real this movie is. Like, it just hits home, and it makes people feel way too uncomfortable. Now, for me, it sounds like the world is full of a bunch of soft people. That's the nicest way I can put that. But essentially, for me, Joker was a 4.5 out of 5. And why wasn't it perfect? Well, other than the fact that it definitely doesn't deserve a 7-minute standing ovation. They had one really cool thing that I was hoping would be the truth and motivation for Joker to want to be Joker, and they kind of just switched it around and made it meh. Like, it's supposed to be the story of how anyone could become the Joker, right? That's what they were intending to do. And essentially, you have to have mental issues to become the Joker, so thus it can't be anyone, right? Now, they kind of make up for it by explaining why Joker sustained brain injuries and thus became mentally unstable. But even then, that situation is still so rare that it missed the mark on that. And for not completely conveying the point that they wanted to make, it's not a perfect movie. But it's as close as a lot of people can get. It was thoroughly entertaining. It's not even 100% full of action. Those people who didn't like Joker because they were hoping he'd fight Batman. Bro, it's an origin story, right? Joker is literally like 20 years older than Batman. There's no way in hell in the beginning of Joker are you going to see him fighting Batman. No way. It's not happening. Not when we're doing a version of it that's not going to be the Joker who fell into the chemical pit. That's the only possible way you're getting that, and they already told you that wasn't how it happened. So, you guys who are uneducated people who just wanted to be geeks because now it's the cool thing, you're disappointed. The rest of you are just too soft. And everyone else knows that this is an excellent movie that should be up for awards. Period.
I think his acting was...
Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job as Joker. And it's very nice to see someone pull it off after Jared Leto. All the memes of having Heath Ledger, passing on the torch to this guy, well worth it. Definitely deserved. Yeah, it was really cool to see how essentially everything Joaquin Phoenix has done in his career has kind of had really high highs and really low lows, and it felt like he took from his last major low when he was that really degenerate rapper, and really put all the psychosis stuff that he was going through then into the current Joker. And it felt a lot like Heath Ledger, who, again, someone else who, died because of a drug overdose, who had a lot of personal issues. And you could feel the fact that he was able to bring his inner demons from his real life into the character and really play off someone who's meant to be the most demented person in all of DC. So it was great to see that. It was great to see a Joker who wasn't the fisticuff type that they keep trying to put in these newer animations, and go back to that Joker who was literally just like an outsmarting, kind of just really intelligent, charismatic type of individual. Even the back and forth play that they have with him and what is real and what isn't it was brilliant. This was a really good movie that everyone should watch if they can stomach it. And even if you can't, the fact that it hits so close to home is because it's too real. And that's something that you people need. Like, a lot of people who complain about, oh, we're an oppressed society. Well, it took one man shooting a bunch of rich people to change the world in a movie. It kind of works the same way in the real world, too. Just putting that out there. Just, you saw what happened in Baltimore, right? I'm just putting that out there. Anywho, we'll move on from that. And Gemini Man is another movie that's been out recently. Will Smith is pretty much taking an old concept and doing it in a new visual styling. I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. Something about the movie just kind of doesn't resonate. I think it's just the fact that it's so predictable because it's been done before. But it's still thoroughly entertaining. Some of the action sequences are really incredible. And I feel like if the bit just hadn't been done so many times before, it would be that much more well-liked. I mean, it's not a bad movie in any way, shape, or form. I think the entertainment value of it carries it over. There's just nothing original really about it except for a black guy doing it. Which is often how I feel about some Will Smith stuff, but, if it's going to be anybody. But Will Smith making news otherwhere is that his production company that he started last year is going to be doing a Fresh Prince spinoff. So I'm not even going to put any thoughts on that, but at least it's Will Smith doing it. And we'll just leave it at that for now. We'll see what actually happens once it comes to fruition. Family movie of the current week is The Addams Family. Probably the only movie this October that actually fits with being put in October. Besides maybe Joker, but I wouldn't really do it. It's not a horror flick. So Addams Family, Halloween themed, weird, freaky family. I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's something that people can see as a family, but I definitely feel like this isn't a full family movie. This is more of a children's movie. So there's not a lot of innuendo for adults. There's not a lot of stuff that's like under the layers for adults to have to explain to the kids. Everything's pretty surface level. It's still really funny, and I think that's what carries it over. It's still really, really funny. Like, an adult can watch this and still enjoy themselves because it's really funny. But it's not really made for the family. It's literally made for children. So just be wary of that. If you're going to take your kids to it, just know you're not going to have as amazing of a time as you could have. But a children's movie that you may enjoy as an adult is Abominable. And that movie is a 4 out of 5 on my rating system. This is a fun journey of a girl who's kind of like taking an adventure and connecting with her father who passed away, all over the course of protecting an abominable snowman. Seems really ridiculous, but it's really fun, it's entertaining. There's actually a lot of cool action, some really cool music, which I thoroughly enjoy, and I feel like there's a lot there that could leave the entire family entertained, with stuff that adults will have to explain certain concepts to younger children, which I think is really important, that a movie that's meant for children, that's trying to teach them something, opens up a conversation and a dialogue between them and their parents. So this is something that movie does that The Addams Family does not, and I think that's what makes it a better movie. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still, a lot of kids' movies still have a very cliche things about them, but this is definitely a better family movie, and an interesting, dabble into Chinese culture as well. But on to the rest. So Season 2 of Insatiable came out. This is a show that had a lot of criticism from Netflix about fat shaming. This season has nothing really to do with that, minus a small, maybe 20-minute moment in one of the episodes. This show turned from being fat girls and skinny girls in pageants with some weird killing involved into being pretty much about a girl becoming a murderer, like a straight-up serial killer. It lost a lot of the original charm for me. I have to give this show a 3 out of 5 for Season 2. It didn't connect with me the same way the first season did. The comedy wasn't there. The same usage of killing was not as amusing this time around. And I think it had to be in order to move on, so I get it, which is why I still put it in the 3s, where I think you could watch it and should watch it. But yeah, if you skip Season 2, it's not a loss, okay? Then we have a comedy special, Mo Gilligan, and this is a 3.5 out of 5. This is a comedy act that I feel like was literally made by a British person, but meant only for British people. There's enough in there that's funny that anybody can really relate to. If you're Caribbean, you might even get more of the jokes. But this is really a British stand-up that shouldn't have been put on American Netflix, if that makes any sense. There's just a lot of cultural references and normities that Mo has and is making that don't really fit anywhere else in the world but London. I wouldn't put this in anywhere else in Europe even. This should just be in the UK. And the use of music is also very hit or miss throughout the entire thing. It's one of the things that anyone can relate to, and at the same time, not really. So just putting that out there as well. For the kids, there's something called The Masters of Myth, which I think is a really good scope for children to kind of get an idea of mythology and things like that from multiple cultures. Netflix is definitely on a big kick right now about teaching people more about Latino mythology. There's also the other show, Seis Manos, which is also really good. Now that show is a 4.5 out of 5. It's an amazing show where they take a lot of Mexican mythology, mix it in with a little bit of Chinese kung fu, and just make a really good short series that I think is very entertaining. That even I think most adults would want to watch it. But Masters of Myth is really more for children who just need to learn more. So that's a 3.5 out of 5. Then we also have another show meant and geared towards, and rightfully so, like teens and tweens, called Creeped Out. And it reminds me of old school Goosebumps. I think as a 90s kid, we can appreciate what this is. You know, Goosebumps, Tales from the Crypt, Are You Scared of the Dark? This definitely goes along that same lines. Some of the stories are actually very entertaining. Some of them are definitely more like, oh god, it's just for children. Even the episodes that seem like the theme is very similar to an episode you've seen before between season 1 and 2, the episode turns out to be vastly different. So I think there's a lot of concepts here that these guys are doing. It's the younger version of Black Mirror, essentially, bouncing between America and UK. I think this is a really good show. It's a 4 out of 5. You should definitely watch it. Now, Netflix is also doing this thing now with more weekly series like Hasan Minhaj's Patriot Act. And this new one is now a competition for rap called Rhythm and Flow. So I'm going to give this series a 3.5 out of 5 from the first set of episodes that were released. I would give it a higher rating, but they have Cardi B as a judge. Now, I hate Cardi B. But I was willing to give this show the benefit of the doubt because T.I. is in it and Chance the Rapper is in it. And as I'm watching this show, you know, I'm trying not to hold any biases, but the first thing out of Cardi B's mouth when a legitimate, skilled rapper who grabbed the attention of Chance the Rapper and also, rightfully so, T.I. was, how much money are you going to make me? And that right there, I immediately just lost all interest in her and everything she would ever have to say for the rest of the series. Because immediately, it proves my point that she is a crappy rapper. If she's so focused on making these hits, he's like, you can rap, but can you make a song? Woman, right there, there's no reason that she should even be anywhere near the level of T.I., let alone Chance the Rapper. So why are you? No, just no. I sat through an hour of her doing People by herself in New York, like just being the top judge decider, and literally wanted to smack everything out of her during that hour for the things that were coming out of her mouth. And I'm also disappointed in Jadakiss and Fat Joe for just being absolutely useless throughout most of that episode as well. You guys are disappointing as legends of hip-hop. I put that there. However, the episodes that are not Cardi B centered were actually really good. So I will say that it's a 3.5 because it is a must-watch for anyone who enjoys hip-hop. But because the casting was so poor and deciding on using Cardi B and her proving me right at her level of incompetence, 3.5 out of 5. We also have another Halloween-themed thing on Netflix called Captain Underpants Hackoween. Straight for kids, not worth much reviewing. It's to the point, if you know anything about Captain Underpants, it's a standard Captain Underpants. This is a 3 out of 5, just for kids. It wasn't that great of a book series, let alone being animated, but it's definitely something that I know kids would enjoy. Big Mouth came back with another season, 4.5 out of 5. You know, only thing that's not great about Big Mouth a lot of the times that sometimes it just kind of loses you. It gets too lost in its own comedy to really make sense. But this season was still entertaining. It's very good, very well written show overall. You know, you'll enjoy it. Dion Cole also created a stand-up recently that was put out called Cold Hearted. It's a 4.5 out of 5. It was really funny. Only reason it's not perfect is that I already know there are going to be a ton of people who are upset by some of the stuff he says. Like, that's literally it. And it's not to the point where it's like Dave Chappelle where it's like, I don't give a It's just more so like he's even aware of it, and he even comments on it. And it's one of those things where I wish some people didn't comment on it because I enjoyed the fact that they haven't yet, and it kind of ruined that for me a little bit. But it's definitely funny enough that when he was testing out materials, even the stuff that didn't hit very hard because it didn't hit. It's just how good of a comedian it is on stage. So I loved him. I loved it. He was also really dope when I met him in person. So like to know that his actual stand-up is great is also bonus for me. Like it's awesome. Carmen Sandiego came back with another season. Pretty good, 4 out of 5. It would have been perfect if it wasn't for the fact it just fell short about an episode of where I needed it to go. There's one thing I think that they needed to add into the season. I won't spoil it for you, but they needed one more episode. Just one more episode in, I think would have been enough. El Camino, the continuation to Breaking Bad, came out as well. I literally watched that just before coming here because I wanted to talk about it. Not worth your time. There's a reason why Jesse wasn't the main character. Let me just leave it at that. It's not bad, but it's definitely not what you would need to continue Breaking Bad with. If you had made this storyline part of the next Breaking Bad series, it may have worked better, but to be a standalone movie for 2 hours, not worth it. This is a 2 out of 5, folks. There are some really awesome moments in there, but as an overall thing, it really doesn't work. It's a lot of quietness, not enough talking, and something about it just it jumps around way too much. It's too complicated for what it needs to be. It's everything that people didn't like about Breaking Bad put into a 2-hour movie. Put it to you that way. Then we have Girls with Balls, a French film that I absolutely enjoyed. 4 out of 5. It is really funny. It's really dumb. It is not like a good movie. It's a good movie because it's so bad. There are people dying. There are people being like ripped apart. There's a whole bunch of nonsense going on. There's like worst timing killings. It is really, really funny and really, really bad. Watch it, enjoy it. Like this is something to watch when you have nothing else to watch, and you're like, well, this looks stupid, and it's so entertaining. This is pure entertainment. Exactly, Evil Dead. There is nothing about this that would make it a legitimate movie. Like this is like not a B or C. It's like a J. It's a J level movie that is just so good. Watch it. Trust me. Watch it. Worst case scenario, you just watched a bunch of hot girls running around screaming for 2 hours, right? So watch it. Yeah. Then following that, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Nikki Glazer banging, another stand-up. Now, this is a 3.5 out of 5. I think you should watch it, but let me explain to you why this can't get any higher. She spends half an hour talking about giving blowjobs. I'm gonna say this one more time. She spends half an hour about giving blowjobs. I've never in my life knew that you can speak 30 minutes on stage about giving head. Not even getting it. Giving head. So it's impressive, a little annoying, but very impressive how she can do it. And then the entire time was actually really, like, it was a really good stand-up. I was laughing throughout it, but she spends half an hour on giving head. I hope that makes you curious enough to watch it. But yeah, half an hour. All right. The last two things. We have Transformers Cyberverse, which is another series aimed towards children, but I think any Transformer fan can actually enjoy this series. It's a different concept on Transformers. It follows Bumblebee by himself on Earth trying to connect with the rest of the Autobots, but he has amnesia. Leave it there. But I'm telling you, it's really good. It's a 4 out of 5 series. But last but not least, I'm going to talk about a series that had a lot of hype coming into it, Raising Dion. And Raising Dion is, the idea that your child now is, a superhero, and you're finding out about it. Single mother, lost a father, yada, yada, yada. So, for me, I had a big problem with casting. And not just because Michael B. Jordan is in it. But he's really doing too much. I really hate him. But you cast a bad guy who's literally coming off of ABC playing a prophet from God. That didn't work for me. I'm like, there's no way this guy is a bad guy. right? Then the kid himself, not that great of an actor, which I think only helps him to make the point that the show is like a B show. You would have done better getting a child who can actually act. And I know it's like, oh, child actors can't. I mean, there are some children who can pull it off, and we all know this, you know. That's why Disney has an entire network full of them. One of the Disney kids would have been more suffice than this kid. Then a lot of the CGI animation, this definitely felt like more low budget than it should have been for the hype that it had. The only thing I liked about it was the mother herself. She was bad, but I mean, even still, like, she kind of just carried over most of the storyline. Anyway, she was believable in her character.
I thought the story was about her.
It seems more about her than anything, right? So, also a lot of the friends, the friends, they were the typical birds, and I didn't like that. They just, unnecessarily chirping about stuff they shouldn't be chirping about. There's a lot about this I wasn't really into, and it goes beyond just Michael B. Jordan. I feel like conceptually this could have been really cool, and I think that's why it disappointed me so much at how it was executed. I give it a 2 out of 5. I'm not going to tell you not to watch it, but I will tell you can skip it. It's not worth all the hype. It's very cliche at moments where it shouldn't be. It's very meh. Like, just skip it. Were you able to get all that stuff uploaded?
Yeah.
Friends. All right, so we're gonna run through the Friends of the Week real quick, and then we're gonna call it. So the first one we have is Nisa Gordon. So Nisa Gordon, remember we have like 2 weeks of fans to get through, so there's a bunch. So we have Nisa Gordon, who's a recent follower, so she was a top fan of the week, followed by Tevin Hill. All right, so Tevin Hill was another one that we had. Next one is Sasha Kovic. Right. He's been around for a while. Sasa, right? Like I don't know where he's from. You got to tell me where you're from. I'm guessing it's Eastern Bloc, right? Kovic. Tala Lone Wolf is next. And she's also a very recent follower. So all the newbies seem to be taking over actually, except for Sasa. Sasa's been around for a while. Then we're gonna skip to the next group of fans. So do you have Shelton? Aaron Shelton? No, that's Sam. That's If You Know Me, You Know Me on Instagram. Right? So he's a friend of mine, a veteran from the military. That's my boy. And then you have Kiki after him, I'm guessing. Right? So Kiki, she was also another fan of the week, who was constantly a fan of the week. See, that's loyalty right there. That's fandom right there. But yes. Then we have Taliba Love, also my other friend named Sam. Got Girl Sam and Guy Sam. We got Nioya 1995, one of my current coworkers actually. What's up? And then we have Aaron Shelton and Sharon Scott, I'm guessing. Right, Aaron Shelton and Sharon Scott. And they're both really new fans. So a lot of newbies on the list currently. And then last but not least, our pictures of the week. So we have the Captain Marvel discovering something interesting about herself. Right, so the first time a girl finds out about masturbation, her fingers glow. And the next one is from this week, and it's pretty much what happens when a Latino female starts doing her eyebrows. More so Chicana than any other thing, but
the demon talking about
mas. That's how you know it's Spanish. And all that has been another abbreviated version of Will's Review, and we will catch you guys next time.
Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move. Excuse me, I'm next in line.